Let's talk this Captain America. Let's talk this Captain America, man. Cap. Ooh, let's talk old Cap. Crazy, right? Captain America, man. Brave New World, as I like to call him. Captain Black America. Captain African America. Let me stop. This movie, I think, sent mixed signals and things to especially us in the Black community. From a Black American perspective, I think there is a struggle with the shield, right? The shield and the struggle, right? Black identity in this. What representation is. Black history. We start looking at things like that when, or at least I do, when it comes to this movie, to this film. Marvel officially crowned Sam Wilson as the new Captain America. You know, they did it in the comics. You know, so I guess they had to try to bring that to fruition here on the big screen in the MCU. Sam Wilson is the new Cap. This film been a long time coming, man. But did it stick the landing? Did it do what it was supposed to do? Or did it fumble this historic moment for Black representation? Did it take a couple steps back? Did it do that? I want to get into the good, the bad, and the ugly of this film. You know what I'm saying? Get my perspective on it. So it's a lot to really unpack. So let's get into the good, man. First and foremost, Anthony Mackie stepping up as Captain America is a monumental moment. He gets his own leading movie. He becomes the leading man, right? Full circle moment from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where he wrestled with the weight of the shield and what it meant to be a Black man wearing the red, white, and blue. And that's a good narrative. That's a good story. To me, they didn't do enough in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but that is a good place to be at. The struggle of being a Black man rocking the red, white, and blue, right? That's a good place to be in. Some things to appreciate when it comes to Sam as Captain America is he wasn't just copy and paste Steve Rogers. So that's a good thing. They didn't just give him this. I know we were saying he should have the serum and stuff, but him not having the serum kind of is a decent good thing, because that means he's not just the Black Steve Rogers, so to speak. He gets to be his own person, even though he's in somebody else's shoes. He at least gets to be his own person, right? He gets to rely on his certain skill set that he has, his knowledge, his wit, and just who he is as a person. That's what he's bringing to the game as Captain America, right? Which is it's a powerful, when you look at it, it's a powerful statement to be that type of hero and dealing with these type of stakes, as said, hero with no powers. You know what I'm saying? To try to show that it's not just about being strong and having superhuman strength or whatever, but it's about being a leader. You know, it's about your moral compass, your conviction, your resilience, what to do when knocked down. Do you get back up? So that, to me, that was a good part when it comes to Sam being Cap. Now I'm gonna get into the bad, but I'm just saying those are the good things. And this isn't me championing that, because I still think I would rather have had a Falcon movie. But like I said, I'm gonna give you these good things. We got Carl Lumbly back as Isaiah Bradley. That's a good thing. Now, if you watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you know his story was one very emotional story. Him being basically the first Captain America. Well, from the comics, if you know, experimented on, given the super soldier serum, fought in the wars for America. Then they locked him up to do more experiments on him. It's kind of basically a reflection on what America's real life history is when it comes to Black Americans, right? An erased chapter in the life of Black soldiers and things of that nature, who was experimented on, forgotten, discarded. That's what Isaiah Bradley represents. I think they need more of that. We need to expand. I think Sam Wilson's whole thing should be about that. His whole thing should be about that. Right? Lean into that. Because that's what it is. Isaiah's character is a reflection of America and its history. So bringing him back was a good thing in Brave New World. At least the smallest smidgen, they at least want to still showcase a little bit of the racial history within its own history universe in the MCU. But how did they handle that small smidgen, that little piece of racial history? How did they handle that? They handled that poorly. They handled it bad. This is where we get to the bad of the movie. Because it had the potential for a deep, complex story here, but Marvel did not deliver. They did not deliver on that. And one of the biggest criticisms on the film is they played it too safe. This was a cookie cutter MCU film. Uninspired. Just a filler movie. And I know you might say, damn, Blue, that's what it is. I'm not calling it trash. I don't think the movie was trash. But it was microwavable. This was a microwave dinner. This was like a hungry man microwave dinner. Like on the box, it looked like you about to get this dope meal, mashed potatoes, and you got the what it is, the steak. You know what I'm saying? With the gravy on it. The country fried steak with the gravy on it, mashed potatoes, you got the corn. On the box, it looks good. But then you put it in the microwave, you take it out, it's still cold in the middle of the mashed potatoes. The corn is hard pepper. Country fried steak is nasty. They won't go deep enough. They just reluctant for some reason to really go deep with the messaging when it comes to race and power dynamics. And I think this was the perfect place to do that. And they dropped the ball. Falcon and the Winter Soldier Falcon and the Winter Soldier introduced certain themes: government mistrust, systemic racism, what legacy means to a person. They introduce it just to back away. They'll show you that, hey, it's on our mind, but they're not really going to do the deep dive that they should do when it comes to stuff like this. Don't introduce those things and back away. This is the perfect opportunity to make the bold statements. Look at what Kendrick Lamar just did at the Super Bowl halftime show. It's the perfect opportunity to start showcasing some of these things. Brave New World ain't no different. No different. Sam should have, his biggest struggle should have been navigating the reality of being the Black Captain America. And it should have showed the division between America, because it is. I hate to say it. A black man carrying this red, white, and blue shield. They should still lean. I know they tried it in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This was another place to keep that narrative going. How does the public really react? Some people might give him a high five. Some people might look at him in disgust. That should be brought up. He should talk about things like that. Is he truly embraced? In the movie, we had a scene where he was at the bar and the dude was like, "Oh no, Cap, your money's no good here." That's dope. We should have had another scene where somebody, you know what I'm saying, talk to him like, "You not my Cap." It's like the film hinted at these things, but they just didn't want to fully explore them. And this is where it really saddens me that they don't do it. Instead, they just pivot back to MCU style action and, you know, to conventional story, superhero trope, yada, yada, yada. This is when you take the chance. It's Captain America. You take the chance now. Taking the chance ain't making a black man Captain America. Taking the chance is telling the story about a black man being Captain America. Now let's talk about who Sam was up against, man. That is Thunderbolt Ross, played by the great Harrison Ford, right? Major role. But the thing is, in this movie, they were trying to make him more sympathetic. The movie, if you as you watch the movie, the reoccurring theme for him was how he was rehabilitated. They called him the Hulk Hunter, right? But they were showing him being rehabilitated. But guess what? He was questioned on these things. He was the one who was having the struggle with being who he was, being the president. How you go from this to this? That should have been Sam's story. Or they should have ran parallel. They humanized Ross. Humanized him. Sympathy. Even though he's been the bad guy in previous films, he's been the antagonist in previous films. This one we're going to humanize him. Yet and still we got Sam, the black man, taking up the Captain America mantle, who has to constantly prove himself worthy. To me, that double standard in storytelling is real familiar, all too familiar when we talk about real world racial dynamics. How the media perceives a black man versus how the media perceives a white man. Anthony Mackie or Sam has to earn the stars and stripes. Harrison Ford's character, that is Thunderbolt Ross, just is the president. Didn't have to earn it, just is the president. Sam can't just be Captain America. You got to earn it. Which is a compelling story if done right. Because it does mirror racial dynamics in the real world. Now let's get to the ugly. Let's get into the ugly of this joint. One of the biggest challenges that faces this movie, just even within its own plot, is the real world political climate surrounding it. And I think that was one of the reasons why it was pushed back and why it was rewritten and retooled and retweaked, is because it had so many real world political narratives involved in it. Right now, we know from the moment Sam got this shield in Endgame, it was going to be some type of resistance. Soon as they said, "Oh, he gonna be," we knew it was gonna be some resistance from a certain demographic of people. And I think I would have leaned into that in my storytelling, right? Comic book fans had previously rejected the idea of a Black Captain America in the comics, but they pushed it because he was Captain America in the comics once. He threw the shield down and said, "Nah, F that. I'm going back to being me. Because Captain America is not me. I am Falcon." And I think that's dope. I think maybe they do that later on. I don't know. But I think that's dope. But then in the comics, he becomes Captain America again. And now we got two Captain Americans running around. Why? I don't know. But that's what they wanted to do. For MCU synergy is what a lot of people, say what goes on in the comics or what's going on in the movies. We translate it into the comics and vice versa. Right? Social media, not my cap. That ain't the Captain America. So we're getting those arguments, those things like that. And to me, Marvel knew that was coming. Marvel knew that was coming out. With this movie, it's still yet to be determined if it's going to be successful or not. But in my opinion, Marvel kind of set this movie up to fail. Reality is a Black man stepping out in this traditional patriotic role is inherently political already. So you already being politically motivated with this movie, you might as well explain your political motivations. Right? Or dissect them or get down to the nitty-gritty when it comes to it. And that brings me to a bigger question. Is Marvel afraid of making white audiences uncomfortable? Even after the success of the first Black Panther movie, it seems to me Marvel still doesn't know what to do with their Black characters. They still don't know how to write them correctly. They still don't know how to bring them forward. They're still scared to lean into Blackness. Marvel, Blackness sells, baby. Blackness sells. It hits all quadrants if done right. You get the haters. They gonna hate watch it and talk about it. Women love it. Tall, dark, and handsome. That term didn't just come out of the blue. The men want to be like them. The kids look up to them. You can get all that if you do it correctly, if done right. Come on, Marvel, think about it. Y'all had the opportunity to really explore America's complicated relationship with Black identity and heroism. This was y'all chance. Y'all missed it. Instead of leaning in, y'all want to shy away from it. Back away. Try to present this film as neutral as possible. The thing about it, being neutral can seem like you're trying to avoid the situation. Neutrality seems like avoidance. It can be taken as that. Like I said, think Black Panther, for example. Let's bring it up again. Black Panther, recast the child. That film was bold. It was unapologetically black. It made cultural and political statements. No fear of backlash. It just did what it did. And Brave New World seems to be hesitant of doing that, of making the splash that it could make the waves that it could make that affect the way people view things, the representation that we talk about all day long, every day on certain channels. The homies on YouTube who bring up representation. Me being a heavily melanated black man, I would love to see that pervade on screen. Because I go through it. I was in the military. I consider myself patriotic. And I know what it feels like to want to wave the red, white, and blue flag while also being true to your blackness in America. I get it. I understand that. Lean into that, Marv. We want to see that. Let people understand that so we get some understanding, some common ground. So now you know what it feels like to be who I am in America. Y'all played it too clean, man. Too neutral. Too vanilla. Now, as we get into the movie, we can talk about what the critics are saying. Rotten Tomatoes, I think, is right now 50-some percent. Audiences, I think, are loving or higher. I think they're in the 70s or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But the people are saying that it lacks identity, it's overstuffed. Me saying, I would say, is this even a Captain America movie, or is this just the Incredible Hulk part 2? Is this the spinoff of the Incredible Hulk? It's heavy on exposition. It's more of a setup film, I think. This just a bridge film, and it shouldn't be. Captain America movies aren't bridge films to me. Ant-Man is a bridge film. That whole franchise was a bridge film up until the last one. They tried to make it a movie of substance, of substantial degree, and I think that's where they messed up at. Some movies are made to be bridge movies, and that's cool. Shang-Chi, I think, is a bridge movie. Even Doctor Strange, both of his movies, bridge movies. Anthony Mackie did it. He's solid with what he did, right? It's just they didn't give him, to me, the script that's needed to really showcase his acting, to have that powerful emotional moment. Remember when Queen Ramonda got up there in Black Panther, the second film that shall not be named, and she got up there and she gave that speech. Because of that speech, she was Oscar nominated, really. I think it was because of that speech. And I know we got the speech at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That's not the speech. I need one of them powerful speeches that just really make you really think. Really make you sit back and it showcases the acting chops of said actor. But we didn't get that emotional depth, and that right there is the real issue. Brave New World had the chance to be groundbreaking, truly cement, truly push, double down, push the line for Sam Wilson as this different type of Captain America, but representing America the way he's supposed to represent America. Represent America for how he represents America. Instead, they played it safe to we got the typical Marvel formula, the big action, some slight political undertones that don't go deep enough. setting up a future movie with an end credit scene, yada yada yada. We got all that, but they didn't go deep enough. So where do we go from here? Let's to wrap it all up. My final thoughts. Like I said, I didn't want to necessarily review this movie. I know I put up their review. This is more so just a social breakdown of it from like a Black American perspective, not really giving anything away when it comes to the movie. But as Black audiences, we got to keep demanding more in all facets of life. Got to keep demanding more, man. Representation is just not about taking a Black actor and throwing him in a superhero suit, especially when it's already a suit that was prior worn by a white man. It's not that. It's about telling our stories authentically with the depth and honesty and uh uh you know, real gravitas, real the tone of what is befitting, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to Black audiences. Legacy, cementing something. So the next time this story is told, that name is still inscribed in said stone. Right? You can't erase it. Now we cement it in. Because the thing is, on a reboot, Sam ain't gonna be Captain America. Sam is gonna end up being Falcon. That's one of the reasons why I would rather him be Falcon. Because the legend of Falcon can go way further than the legend of Sam Wilson as Captain America. Because when the reboot happens or whatever, we're gonna get Captain America back. We're gonna get Steve Rogers back as Captain America. Because he is Captain America. So if Marvel really wants to sell us on Sam Wilson as Captain America, they need to let him be Captain America. Hate to say it. He's got to be on his own terms, in his own voice and actions and the struggles that come with him being Captain America. That's the only way you can sell it to cement him in. But me, I would rather him do that as Falcon. He can still champion the patriotism and everything being Falcon. Now, at the end of the day, some people might say that Brave New World is a step forward. I'm not on that bandwagon. You know, a lot of people see it as, oh, it is representation, yada yada. I'm not on that bandwagon. I think this is hollow representation, shallow representation. It's not the representation that's needed. You know, but y'all let me know, what is this proper representation? Was the movie good? Did you feel that it did the things that it was supposed to do for you? Let me know what you think in the comments down below, man. Let me know what y'all think in the comments down